Many Bitcoin miners have been taking off like crazy this year. And honestly, truly, they are incredible. But only in small quantities, only when decentralized, and just kind of in moderation. And a couple of our BitAxe and other mini miner reviews went viral, kind of crazy. Since then, there's not a mining rig reseller that hasn't tried to jump on the trend and start selling you marked up mini Bitcoin miners. Which mini miner is worth buying? And at what point should you just buy a full-size Bitcoin miner or simply just buy the coin? A lot of people are looking for attention and they're looking for sales.
Welcome. What can I interest you in?
But do they really have you in mind? Here's a post from Summer and it's pretty interesting and it really highlights the just frenzy and the disarray of information in some of the mining sector. She got a new miner from a new supplier in China. BitAxe Hex was the label on the machine, but the marketing material that they gave her was BitAxe Gamma 801, which would basically be a BitAxe Gamma Turbo, but it wasn't a BitAxe Gamma Turbo. It was a BitAxe Hex. So that's not even using the Gamma ASIC chip. The ASIC chip, which is an application-specific integrated circuit, this custom computer chip specifically built by Bitmain, and these are normally ripped out of their S21 Pro Bitcoin miners, all right, the BM1370. And this Hex unit, which normally means it has 6 ASIC chips in it, is using the BM1368. There's nothing Gamma about it. That's the same ASIC chip that's used in the BitAxe Supra. But then to make things even more confusing, there's the BitAxe Gamma, the BitAxe Supra, the Supra Hex, the BitAxe Hex, and you're like, what the f*** is going on? Do these things mine over Wi-Fi? Yes. Can you overclock it, underclock it? Does it use Axe OS? Not necessarily. A lot of these hexes are like a weird BitAxe mashup that's like kind of open source, but then it's not. The GitHub links are sometimes inaccurate or not updated to the point that they're not really truly open sourced software and hardware, which is what they're supposed to be if they're hailing from the BitAxe line, which has always been and always will be, at least should be, open source hardware and software. And that's what makes that stuff special, as opposed to some of the BitAxe ripoffs that you can see, like the Unlucky miner or Brains and their mini miner, although cool device, not open sourced. And the Canon miners, especially the mini ones, are also not open sourced. Right now, there's a big movement by the Bitcoin mining plebs. There's a lot of people with BitAxes. There's a lot of people that will add BitAxes to their mining arsenal, and they're loud and outspoken. When I head over to sololuck.com, the best Bitcoin solo mining calculator in the world ever. They didn't pay me to say that. We made it and I'm proud of. I can put in any hash rate. For example, I'll put in 5 terahash a second, which is a NerdQX++, my personal favorite mini Bitcoin miner, specifically and only the one made by Power Mining. I put that hash rate in and it gives me a chance of basically 1.2 to 1.3 million per day, as well as the chance per year of 1 in about 3,500. If I hit the next Bitcoin block, I'd earn nearly $350,000. But more importantly, I'd earn 3.125 Bitcoins plus whatever the transaction fee is on top of that. In this example, would give me an additional $6,000 or 0.057 of Bitcoin. The really cool part about solo mining with a mini miner is this, real chance at hitting the Bitcoin lottery. And the real difference is this basically plays the lottery for you well over 100 times a day, forever, or at least as long as this device works, which should be quite a while. If I was going to buy a mini Bitcoin miner, I would get the BitAxe Gamma if I wanted to buy the cheaper one. If I wanted a great balance of hash rate and density and also just a more tangible impact on the network, I'd be looking at the NerdQX++, and both of these specifically from Power Mining. We have a coupon code VoskCoin to save some coin. We also collaborated with them to give away 10 BitAxe Gammas. So click the link in the video description below to learn more about that. And I'm so hyped up on Mountain Dew over this. We're collaborating with them on putting a node in the same box as a BitAxe Gamma, which will enable you to solo mine Bitcoin, run your own Bitcoin mining node, and your own private mining pool instance, and doing all of this with no fee in the equation. So if you hit that Bitcoin block, you get to keep all of it. Yeah. But at what point should we just try to buy or deploy a full-size Bitcoin miner, right? Because hey, like, by the way, I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. I've been working on building out my own mining farm, and this is my personal farm in my place. And I just recently ordered a bunch of S21 XPs. I also ordered Bitdeer Seal miner A2s, which came in at a much better price per terahash, right? So let's look at that number. According to Mining Now, my mining profitability on those is about $16 a day. It cost me less than $7 a day to run it. So I essentially spend $7 to mine over $9 worth of Bitcoin every day. My projected break even after accounting for the electricity bill is a little bit less than a year. I got these in Basic Marketplace for about $3,000 a piece. We have an affiliate link coupon code to save you some coin over there as well. I can't help but accumulate all these links and stuff along the way when I do this all day, every day, build the farm, make the best content I can. And then our goal is to release all this free content here. And if you happen to want to buy anything we talk about, if you take the time to use our links, it's incredible. It keeps the channel rolling, but I'm not here to push stuff on you. Don't buy it if you don't want it. All right. So what's really cool about this is the fact that it earns a interesting and tangible amount of Bitcoin. And where my head's at is to break even on all my mining rigs, get them all paid off, and then look at flipping them over to solo mining, or maybe I'll get impatient and do it before then. For example, if I was to flip over just a Bitdeer Seal Miner A2, I would have a 1 in 77 chance over the next year to hit a Bitcoin block. So that's pretty crazy, right? That's taking $3,000 and having a 1 in 77 shot to turn it into $330,000, per the calculations here. That also would mean that there's one very excited and lucky person, and then there's 76 losers. And if you lose that, well, then I would be responsible for $2,500 of electricity. So spending around $3,000 and then round up, you spend $3,000 in electricity. I just turned $3,000 into minus $6,000. Well, that was fun till it wasn't, huh? And if you can't run your own miner at home, there's hosting options, right? So, shameless plug, Musk Miners is a sponsor of the VoskCoin YouTube channel. And what Musk Miner does is they have their own mining farm, and that's what they operate. They will also sell you mining rigs. They will host hardware. They have consulting. And the bottom line is that there are ways to get into mining without literally doing any of it yourself. So anyway, I'll put the link down below and check them out if that's exciting and interesting to you. But ultimately, like, anyone can run a mini miner, and they should. But not everyone is in a situation where they're set up well to run a full-size miner. But if you look at this post from Marshall Long, OGBTC, a Bitcoin in every home fixes Bitcoin. He says, no, it does not. So there's a lot of hype in the BitAxe reseller community where they make all these like posts on Twitter and shit, and they're like, this, and it's doing so much, and do your part, and it's incredible, and we got incoming stock. Make sure you buy from us. We're hooking you up. It's like a lot of these guys are just resellers. Don't even make this shit. And they're just really trying to gild the story to sell you stuff and make a profit. And they're essentially drop shippers, which the way that all of that comes together is they really have no risk. And they're just a lighter version of almost like an influencer, where they're just trying to influence you to buy their products, but all under the guise of it's good for Bitcoin and the network, and you have this chance to hit a block. And you may draw some parallels with that to what I've said on the channel and shown on the channel, but Here's the deal. I don't talk this shit. I live this shit. Here's also the deal. I'm not sitting here on a stock of 2,000 BitAxes that I want to offload on you. I don't have any that I'm looking to sell. I'm literally just collecting and keeping all of my BitAxes so far out here in what has kind of funny, ironically, has essentially become the BitAxe mining shed. Here's the key breakdown and takeaway from OG BTC, if you know him, from the Bitcoin talk days. The network security offered by BitAxes is overblown. However, there are great benefits from learning the ropes with Bitcoin mining. I mean, you get a BitAxe, you set it up, and if you do it right with a node, you learn how to set up a Bitcoin node. You're setting up a computer potentially where there's easy ways and there's harder ways to go about that. You can set up your own mining pool instance. You're setting up the miner, connecting to a pool, and you're doing it all in like a very self-sovereign way. You can also run Lightning nodes out of this stuff. You end up setting up a Bitcoin wallet. You join an exchange so you can either buy more Bitcoin or cash out Bitcoin. And it's very orange pilling, right? Gifting a BitAxe to a friend is a killer way to onboard them, right? And you're playing the Bitcoin lottery. Solo mining gives you that chance to hit a Bitcoin block all day, every day, again, for as long as that hardware lasts. But the biggest takeaway from me is this solo mining leads to the decentralization of Bitcoins in a much better way. It's not one major mining farm on one mining pool mining all of the Bitcoins. I hope that some plebs out there take a device that doesn't even cost $300 potentially and earn over $300,000 worth of Bitcoin. That's a wild return, akin to the OG. You see the double entendre there? Days to Bitcoin. And it's just so much closer to what Bitcoin should be. Kind of feels like the comeback arc for Bitcoin. And it really needs it, as all of these corporations, governments, and other huge entities are sucking up Bitcoin as their new asset class, their inflation hedge, their way to diversify. Bitcoin's price keeps rising higher and higher, making it further and further out of reach for the average person, the person that Bitcoin was designed to essentially save. To be honest, in your current situation, it may be too late for you to buy a full Bitcoin without proper planning, grinding, executing, taking risks. But a BitAxe Gamma is affordable for everyone. But on the contrary, make sure you're not getting caught up with all the mini miner hype and you end up buying a full-size Bitcoin miner's worth, price-wise, capital-wise, when you could have just gotten a full-size Bitcoin miner and achieved an astronomically lower cost per terahash. And again, if you can't even run it at home or you don't want to, or whatever reason, which, by the way, cheat code, invest in solar. Solar pays for your miner electricity bill. Pay off the solar, pay off the miner. Passive income, real life money cheat code. Engaged. Let's go. But if all that doesn't line up for you, there's mining farms that will gladly host your gear for you. I'm not even going to say the name again I said earlier because I'm not trying to push a company on you. I'm just trying to illustrate a general solution. But that's all I've got. I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. This is our CMO, our Chief Mining Officer, Tails Vosk. I appreciate you. Good luck. And I really hope I hit the next Bitcoin block solo mining. I got a lot of gear solo mining right now, but not the whole farm. But if I can't muster up the luck to hit the next block, I hope it's you. But remember, you never hit a block if you're not mining. Good luck.